What's up, y'all? It's your boy Niner Faithful. How's everybody doing? Hope everyone had a legendary week. Welcome to episode 3. I guess I called it episode 2, but I guess it's episode 3. I'll change that. But today we're gonna go ahead and go over Kidda Corn's big deal. The Niners went ahead and signed 2 receivers. Of course, we're going to discuss the exciting day that is pads coming on. We have Kyle Shanahan went ahead and kind of pretty much said who the starter was at Will and Sam. And so we're going to go ahead and get in that. We got some news on the punt return competition. News on the Richie James injury front. Jalen Hurd, of course, K1 Williams. And we're going to go ahead and, if we have time, get into players that we kind of are close to the end of their contract or at the final season of the contract, and we kind of need to see something from to know whether we're definitely going to sign them, going forward or not. Let's see. Yep. All right. It'll let me know. I see it. Okay. Adam will be joining us shortly. We don't got no. I am starting early. I told everybody 3:00, but the boys got things that we got to do. I'm gonna wait until I see him come on before we're gonna announce our semi-big announcement. But we also have a huge announcement that I want to wait ahead until Adam comes on before I discuss. You know what? We're gonna go ahead and I'll just discuss it now, and I'll talk about it a little bit when Adam comes on. But as of August 7th of this year, I have joined up with a couple people, and we are going to be starting what is going to be known as the Home Podcasting Network, or Home Podcasting Network. We are going to be offering membership packages, and more details that I will be announcing on further shows. We will have our logo reveal, I guess you could say, coming up on Friday. And as soon as we launch, we are going to go ahead and we are going to have, what's up, Samson? How you doing, baby? As soon as we get it launched, Niner Faithful Radio will be moving there. We, of course, will still be broadcasting on YouTube. You will still be able to subscribe as a podcast. I'm trying really hard to keep the same RSS feed because I'm not trying to lose subscribers and make people resubscribe and all that. And I definitely will be still keeping Niner Faithful Radio. And really, honestly, this is just a move that Niner Faithful Radio is, I think, ready to take the step where we need to get on a podcast network and help spread the word with the power of a podcast network. So definitely excited about that news. Adam, I'm not worried about that. Sorry about that, y'all. I was trying to see if Adam was going to go ahead and get in this. You know what? We're just going to go ahead and kind of get started here, and I'll let Adam jump in. Bang, bang, Jason. What's up, brother? How you doing? All right, so since Jason's here, we're going to go ahead and make the announcement. Jason will be joining the Niner Faithful Radio fam, effective, let's just say, maybe 20 minutes ago, but let's just say right now, He will be joining the Niner Faithful Radios fam, and will be posting in the Niner Faithful Radio group, which everybody does, but he'll also be doing some admin duties, helping us approve posts, things of that nature, to help, keep the flow of the group going. I wish these notifications would stop popping up. So we're definitely take a bow, Jason. Everybody give a round of applause. Welcome to the fam, bruh. Cheers. Here's to working a long relationship, working together. You've been extremely supportive of the show, bruh, and I appreciate that. And so, as I've said, it's been only a matter of time, and I feel that now is the right time. So we're gonna go ahead and get into this. The Niners went ahead and signed wide receiver J.J. Nelson and Trayvon Austin. Didn't see anything about the report of the contracts. I know Adam is generally the one that keeps up with the contracts. So when he gets on, we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna we'll get more into that. Kyle Shanahan at his press conference. I mean, I want to say when he announced the starter, I mean, he said, look, he did what coaches will always do and always say. Look, this is who we expect to be the starter. If the season started today, this would be who would be the starter. Obviously, if anybody comes out and blows the coaches away and they really feel that that player will be hey, Jamie, how you doing? Good to see you. Thank you for joining us, love. We will definitely. Did you change your profile name? Doesn't it usually come up as Jamie 49ers fan or 49ers fan 94 or something like that? Anyway, y'all making me lose my train of thought. But damn it. He basically said Kwan Alexander is going to be the starter at will, and Dre Greenlaw will be the starter at Sam. I don't think that that's that much of a surprise. I think that's what kind of everybody expected. I know that's what I expected. I know that's what Adam expected. We have discussed it on the show. But we are half expecting that eventually it will be Dre Greenlaw's job. And I could even see both of them playing in nickel, based on scheme, matchups, things of that nature. So Quan did say that he's 100%, but, and he did. I think that he didn't help the injury. I think the injury probably has taken longer to heal than, and by injury, I mean his torn pec. I should have said that. I think it's going to take longer to heal. I think that, playing in the Super Bowl and the playoffs, obviously it would have been, if he didn't play in the playoffs in the Super Bowl, he'd be 100% long ago. I think it obviously took him longer because that he did play in the playoffs, but that was a chance the Niners were willing to take. I think we all were, and definitely, I think paid dividends. But Trent Taylor is also taking reps at punt returner, and he says that he wants to be the starter at punt returner and wants to help on special teams. I'm surprised by this. I thought that the Niners would not have Trent Taylor back there returning punts, and I thought that it would have, been Richie James. Some obviously he's hurt, so somebody has to take the reps during camp, um, i.e. Trayvon Austin. But I guess the Niners really do trust that he's recovered from his foot surgery and his back. Now, I understand his back was in 2018. And so, a lot of people are going to think that he's healed. Hey, backs are tricky. Being able to play with an injury or something, or I guess the coaches always use the phrase, if you got to play hurt, you can't play injured, So, yeah, do I think that Trent Taylor's back is 100%? No. Back injuries suck. But do I think it's something that he can manage and play through? Yeah, I do. I think that's something that, he may never get over. Backs tend to be funny. Yeah, I think that's funny. That kind of goes to show you, Jason, that, I think that's funny that, he was a returner god. Dante Pettis was a returner god, but, can't. Let's be realistic. What hurt him and for a lot of people believe stunted his growth his rookie year, he got hurt on a punt return. That's how he hurt his knee. And so he essentially really hasn't really been back there since. And I don't know if that's more that the Niners think that he can't get it done or more that they don't want him getting hurt again. At this point, I would think that it would have to be the latter. If Dante Pettis isn't returning punts, I think that it would be a concern because I think the days of hoping Dante Pettis is one of our two starting receivers, I think those days are over. Honestly. I mean, I think it's pretty clear that the team sees the future as Deebo Samuel and Brandon Ayuk, who, by the way, had an amazing week of training camp. I love to see that Jimmy and Ayuk connection going deep with a beautiful Jimmy's deep ball looked beautiful. A little tangent here, just a little side tangent. That I this is what I love about Jimmy. Is that, look, let's be real. We all know in the Super Bowl, he overthrew Emmanuel Sanders. It was a bad throw, whatever. I don't think that was the only issue he had. If you look in the Emmanuel Sanders touchdown in New Orleans, he underthrew that. Emmanuel Sanders made a great move, a cut to get into the open field and was able to score a touchdown. And if you look in the Yams game at home, he underthrew Emmanuel Sanders there. If he hits Emmanuel Sanders in stride or I don't want to say underthrows, but there was clearly something off about that play. If he hits him in the sync of the play, that's a touchdown. And we all know in the Super Bowl, that was a touchdown that he Hey Kim, how you doing? I saw your message, by the way. Okay, thank you. I'll talk to you later after the show. But this is what I love about Jimmy is that he worked on it clearly. He saw that and said, "Hey, I need to get better," and he got better so far as it looks at training camp. So that's great to see, or at least has a connection. Maybe Jimmy hasn't improved ever on his deep ball, but has a better deep ball connection with Brandon Ayuk. So the team, from what I hear from most people who watch practice, the person who throws the best deep ball, even though he doesn't have the strongest arm, is Nick Mullins. But that's another conversation for another pod. will be out until he will miss week 1 of the regular season. I didn't hear. I did not hear a date on when he would return, but Richie James will miss the start of the season. Jalen Hurd, unfortunately, on Sunday, it's been confirmed, has torn his ACL, and K1 Williams has a grade 1 calf strain. It is not considered serious. Ben Garland in yesterday's practice went off the field with an ankle injury and did not return. His status is as of fact. And this is just for all those who want to have some hope that there will be a football season. Only 11 players in the league as of yesterday. I haven't heard anything. I didn't get to listen to my Stats and Eggs podcast episode yet this morning. I've been running behind today, but as of yesterday, there was only 11 players on the COVID coronavirus list, and so I think that that's good. I mean, all this scares of they were going to shut it down. It was going to be 1 billion cases and all this. I mean, kind of seems over exaggerated by now, doesn't it? Doesn't seem to. Now, I think the real test will be when they leave their bubbles. I mean, essentially, let's be realistic. Teams are essentially in bubbles right now. I mean, all their supposedly, I want to say this clearly, like I don't believe anybody in it, but apparently all players are interacting with on the Niners are whoever they're interacting within the team, of course, at 6 feet distance, and with whoever they're living with. The real test will be when the Niners play the Cardinals and they come in and that interaction happens, and so that will be the true test. But I think that needs to be applauded. The NFL has done a fine job to, at this point, at yesterday, to only have 11 players active on the coronavirus list right now is great. Jamie, I totally agree with you. I really felt for Jalen Hurd. Man, that really sucks. And it's getting to a point now where Jalen Hurt's going to come in next year where, he's not promised a place on the roster. And, he's going to have to compete with his job because if I'm Javon Jennings, I'm excited. I specifically, when Javon Jennings was drafted, said this is Jalen Hurd insurance. Obviously, Jalen Hurd is more talented, more versatile. But as far as that big body receiver that's going to go bully people in the end zone and bully his way to the end zone, Javon Jennings is that player. And boy, I can't wait to see him. I'm running a streak here on Niner Faithful Radio. I think that I do not remember 2018, but in 2017, I picked George Kittle as my rookie to watch. And 2019, as y'all know, I was very, 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 very high on Drake Greenlaw. And, only made probably the top 3 play of the season. I mean, you're going to, of course, argue I mean, there's so many arguments and everything like that, but the clinch at the inch. I mean, I'm going to say biggest, not that, the Kittle Core play wasn't bigger. The Kittle Core, this play wasn't bigger. The Robbie Gould game-winning field goals. I mean, all those things. Let's not forget, I think Robbie Gould hitting that field goal gets lost in Kittle Corn's epic play in New Orleans, but Kittle Core's play doesn't matter if Robbie Gould misses that field goal. And that's why I put the clinch at the inch as the biggest play of the year, just off the fact of, hey, yeah, we have, Dante's touchdown against Pittsburgh, the fourth down, the goal line stand against the Yams in LA, the 2 3rd and 16s against the Yams at Levi's, and you have all the plays that Kittle Corn's touchdown before and during against Green Bay before halftime. I think that really set up a lot of things going forward to the system or this season. But none of those plays matter, and I don't think we make it to the Super Bowl. None of those plays matter if Dre Greenlaw doesn't make his play. We have a comment. Since the team didn't have regular OTAs, I think they'll probably have a lot of soft tissue injuries pop up for lack of conditioning. Exactly. And the reason, just so y'all don't hear me mumble it, since the team didn't have regular OTAs, I think there will probably be a lot of soft tissue injuries pop up for lack of conditioning. Soft tissue injuries will be an issue league-wide this year. Yeah, Jason and Jamie, I do believe Adam is here. So let me go ahead and pop in. But, yeah, I totally agree with y'all. Okay, hold on. I just joined. All right. Invite guests. Yeah, we're okay. Why isn't it working? Okay, are my hands sweaty? Oh, see, this is what I was talking about why we didn't do the show yesterday. My laptop's been acting funny because it's just been so hot here lately. Yeah, I'm sitting there laughing. I see you, bruh. All right. That should do it. It's going to take a second. Apparently, yeah, there we go. I could already see the camera. What's up, my man?
What is going on, TJ? How you doing, my friend?
Chilling, brother. How you doing?
Not too bad. Sometimes we laugh, sometimes we cry.
How you doing, bro?
Doing pretty good. Thanks for having me on, as always. I overheard you.
Can you hear me?
Talking the topic of combo is
doing good. Can you hear me, bro?
Yes, sir.
All right, let's do this.
Can you hear me? What was the topic of combo beforehand? We're talking Dre Greenlaw and Will linebacker or something?
Oh, well, no. Yeah. So just to get kind of just rehash what I went over, Kyle Shanahan on one of his weekly press conferences this week essentially said he expects Quan Alexander to be the starter at will.
And that's what we talked about last week.
We talked about it. That's what we assumed it would be. Going into next year, we'll reevaluate that as we will have to make there will be some casualties coming next season. We've hashed over it many times on who we think those will be. That will be a podcast for a different, in the off season. But, I think that I was even saying, I even see packages where they bring in Dre Greenlaw, and they just, of course, in nickel, where you have Fred and Dre and Quan sits out a couple plays. I can see packages where, they have probably maybe even put Fred Warner on the sideline. I mean, I'm not saying that that's going to happen. It's just with the way I've always heard it, and all the coaches have always talked about it, is those three positions are so interchangeable that, we knock on wood as we say this, but I think we're blessed with Fred Warner. Hasn't missed any games as far as I know in his career. And so we, of course, pray for continued health. But Right. I know. I just think that's why. Hey, we're good. I already knocked on wood. But of course, in this 2020 season, we do not know what could happen. Richard Sherman on a press conference talked about how this year, the Super Bowl, I wouldn't be surprised if the Lions win it. And when I say I wouldn't be surprised if the Lions win it, not that I think the Lions have that great of a team, but they could just be the team that's the healthiest over the course of the season. You know, that teams have its players stay disciplined to stick to the protocols of the league as far as not going out, maintaining social distancing, you know, things of that nature. You know, to just touch on a cross sports reference, look what happened with the Cleveland Indians. You know, with their situation as far as having to send players home.
Oh, dude, it started with the Marlins and all that. I totally get what you're saying. What would happen if all of a sudden, you know, the guys get together and throw a party at Jimmy G's house and he is a single guy, so I'm allowed to say that. Some girls come over and they're asymptomatic. I mean, what are they going to freaking test? I mean, to be honest, I mean, tests are not that direct, or else that would literally be an awesome idea. It's like, imagine if you're able to test somebody. All right, cool, you're good, but obviously we're not that far in the future. Maybe one day, maybe next year, 2 years, I don't know. But I totally get your point, and that can definitely screw the pooch for a team. Yeah, especially they're in Santa Clara. I mean, you live in the Bay Area. We all know things over there are not that good. I'm sure you guys have progress some, but it's definitely nothing to mess about there. I mean, you know, San Diego just came off the watch list, for example. So I'm not going to say, you know, like last time when things did open up, I'm not going to say, hey, go ahead and go crazy, because obviously that's kind of what happened, along with further testing. We won't get too deep into that, but I totally get your point. And they got to be careful. I mean, Shanny was even pretty much Captain Obvious about it too, saying like it's pretty much up to you, and anyone can kind of get it at any time. So he's pretty much saying is watch your shit. Everybody knows Super Bowl or bust mentality this upcoming season, hopefully many years to come. So everybody better be on their A game.
You know, I think that, and you know, we're kind of bearing the lead here. You know, we obviously the biggest news of the week is that George Kittle's contract, and of course we're going to discuss that in detail.
It literally happened. Remember, 15 mil.
15 mil, and so just this clear point is Steve Young went on KNBR and talked about how this year and how he was disappointed that we didn't grab the championship last year, for obvious reasons, because you know Steve Young wants the Niners to win, all that, you know. He's not a homer, but I think it's very clear who Steve Young. You know, anytime I've watched this Steve Young broadcast that he's done with the Niners, I would never say that he's a homer. I would think that it's clear that he has an affinity for the Niners. But I mean, I've heard him being critical of the team before.
Yeah, I've heard him I mean, he kind of said the obvious. If anything, maybe he was low-key mad at Kyle Shanahan, and that's why he said we should have won. Obviously, I'm not going to directly blame it on Shanahan. We've all been through that one. I'm sure at this point everyone's
I don't either.
So maybe he was like dropping a little hint that we should have won it. It's like, no shit, we should have. I mean, everyone wanted that. Yeah. You know?
Yeah, I think that everybody knows. Actually, it was funny. I talked to a Chiefs fan today at Burger King this morning. He just happened to walk in and like, mysterious Patrick Mahomes jersey, But anyway, so you know, we were discussing and everything like that, and I mean, he himself said, "Look, bro, you know, Patrick, we won because Patrick Mahomes is freaking amazing and can make throws that no other human on this planet can possibly make, and caught some breaks." Now, you know, I couldn't get him to admit and come out and say, yeah, Bosa got held. Yeah, Jimmy should have been around. I couldn't get him out and say that, but he did admit, look, we caught some breaks. You know, and I said, okay. I said, that's probably, you know what? The tables
to me, that's a translation.
And then
to me, that's like a translation almost.
I was going to say, if the tables were turned,
no, I didn't steal it.
And the Niners
had caught the birds. I didn't know I was stealing. I just grabbed it and I walked out.
Yeah. I mean, and I have to. Yeah, I can't be a hypocrite. Um, and if the tables were turned and the Niners caught the breaks and won that Super Bowl, then I probably would say the same thing. I'd say, hey,
Well,
look,
no,
we
to
made
be honest,
throws because, you know,
I was gonna say, to be honest, I'm the type of guy. If we did get kind of favored on calls and stuff like that, I'd be like, yeah, man, it totally sucks. You know what I mean? I understand, but I'll take it. I'm that kind of guy because I don't like bullshitting the other
okay,
person either. You know, so it's like
40
keep it real.
years in that
Don't beat
ring.
around the bush. We all saw everything, unless you're once again one of those
Look,
oblivious Chiefs fans where you just don't want to admit anything because you think that your championship is going to be tainted. It's like, dude, it's done. You have the ring. You won the trophy. But just like when I talked to people that same night after the Super Bowl, when I went out to other bars, obviously,
yeah,
getting over the hump, that was my start of it, going out and about, getting some more drinks, to be completely honest. I wasn't driving, but I had Chiefs fans admit to me, you know what I mean? They were like, I don't think Damian Williams got in, you know what I mean? They were totally honest about, maybe they were feeling good and they're like, yeah, we'll definitely take it. But they were honest to me that same night. It was appreciateful. I was like, thank you.
I mean,
and now that makes me feel better. I can move
50
on.
Years? Yeah.
50
after
years.
50 years,
a 1-1 and
I would have matter how much he won that freaking ring. Look, after 25 years of the Niners not winning a ring, I'm not apologizing. If when going out this year, we get it job done. I don't care what it is. I'm not going to come on that Tuesday or that day of the parade when we're going to do a live show. We will set that up, bro. I don't care if we got to dig into savings and I got to shoot you gas money, whatever we got to do. We are doing a show from the parade. You know what I'm saying? Right. And look,
I'll come out there for the parade. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
By next year, hopefully things
we're going to do a show together. We will drink beers together. We will be drunk on camera, and we're going to have an amazing time. And the reason we're going to do that is because it's been since we were, 26 years now. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not going to apologize after 26 years. I can't imagine after 50. So to the point that I was originally trying to get to was he talked about how this would be the year that is, okay, was it a one-year wonder? Or are we legitly, like we both feel, in a championship window? Now, we both feel that. We've discussed the reasons why we do. I think that we are, and that's one of the reasons I'm excited. But before we bury the lead anymore, 15 mil. Too much,
exactly
just the right price.
Yeah, it seemed like he was probably just the right price. I definitely think so. I mean, and once again, we argued last week. That was what Michael Irvin kind of said, 15 million. Yeah. I was like, I can see him asking for a little more just for everything that he does. But I think that's part of negotiating. And I totally knew. I mean, I've been through this game. You've been through this game for a long time. I mean, when they say contract extensions are not close, new contracts not close, and all that, that's part of negotiating. He probably asked for $19 million at first, knowing the 49ers are going to keep trying to not necessarily nickel and dime him, but that's just part of negotiations work. At the end of the day, I think everyone's happy with $15 million, and we can all move the hell on. He's happy. It's such an important year. We needed an overblown, happy, motivated George Kittle that's going to go out of his way to do everything. Probably win a championship because how much for the money? The guarantees was $30 million. It's only $40 million in case of injury, which won't happen. He's a beast. We've seen what he can do even while injured.
Was it 40 for million for injury?
I thought it was 30
for
but he
gets 34
$10 million. I think he gets an extra $10 million, if I'm not mistaken, and somebody wants to correct me. I think he gets an additional 10 if he gets injured, but none of that. But great deal. Not much else you can say, especially, I'm not going to say it's more so important now, but with the injury of Jalen Hurd, I wouldn't be surprised if somebody like Jordan Reed now is all of a sudden getting some big slot further snaps, we just signed 3 wide receivers, which is just nuts. We talked about it. We all know JJ Nelson, JJ Nelson, Tavon Austin. We just signed Jerome Brown from the Seahawks, which every time I watched the Seahawks last year, he always made some like little plays. He only had like 208 yards for the year.
Wasn't it him? I want to say it was him that caught a third, crucial third down in the game at Levi's last year.
Probably. That's probably why I remember him so well.
I think I remember that name popping in my head on a
Yeah.
crucial third down that
He always like
ended
he was
up,
like
I
the
think,
low key wide
game.
receiver for
Yeah,
Russell Wilson. He seemed like the low key wide receiver that's
yeah,
like he always got the good matchups of like the bottom of the barrel of the corner. I'm not gonna say nickel, dime, wide receiver. I don't know exactly what it could be, but it's always like Russell trusted him just to make those little plays. And obviously we know about his scrambling ability and all that, but he's a good training camp body at worst.
yeah.
So I like the move. Obviously, we're all low key kind of sad about Jalen Hurd. I was just thinking too. I was like, man, he could have took over all those Debo type of snaps
Yeah.
coming around on reverses, running slants and things like that. So it's obviously too bad, but obviously we're still a run first team, play action team. So I think we'll be fine. But this definitely opens up the opportunities for somebody like Dante Pettis, for example. We already knew where he's in the hunt. If Dante doesn't go out there and get it, especially maybe the first X amount of games that Debo's out, I don't know what to say. But if I was Dante, I'd be like, this is like almost God's calling for me. Like every opportunity is open for him and Kendrick Bourne. And we already talked about Kendrick Bourne last week. So, I mean, guys are going to have to step up, obviously. And this is Trent Taylor's time too. It seems like Trent Taylor should be the automatic slot guy now with less competition around, with after all these injuries. Jordan Reed can get some big slot.
It's
the big slot type of snaps. I mean, it definitely can work, but obviously blocking has to be top notch. But we're a run first and play action team anyways, so I'm not worried. But Cardinals first week, it's definitely going to be tough. I mean, they almost beat us twice last year.
I think that we're missing. It's going to come to Jalen Hurd, the versatility, they essentially having a tight end, being able to essentially put a tight end in the backfield and having him run, the ball or run routes out of the backfield or anything. It's just a unique skill that just not everybody's going to have. Now, as far as Jalen Hurd's ability as a receiver, I think I'm confident with Jennings being able to combat some of that. Obviously, we know his 40 wasn't the greatest. Obviously, we know his game's not a speed game, but that's fine. I just need somebody that's going to knock some people over and just. I just Saquon Bolden. That's all I need. I don't need a speedster. I don't need.
They win with physicality and some route running. They win with physicality, route running, and creating just enough separation using their big. Well, I call Bolden wasn't even the biggest guy, but he still created just enough separation. But Jennings is kind of like I'm saying, same kind of attributes, but he does have the bigger body with a bigger catch radius where he can be able to create even a little further. I mean, we all know they say football can be a game of inches. A couple inches can be the difference of making a catch and getting the defensive back get a pass breakup on you. So
literally, I don't know.
You know what I thought about
maybe
too?
A couple inches.
Jarek McKinnon having some of those
difference between a number 1 and number 5.
Sorry, go ahead.
Sorry. Yeah.
Sorry, you cut out for a second.
No, I was just gonna say maybe even a couple inches could be the difference between the 1 seed and the 5 seed.
Oh, yeah.
I said maybe the difference between cutting out. I can see it.
It's fine. Your voice, I think, is still good. It just got choppy for a second.
A couple inches could be the difference between the 1 seed and the 5 seed.
I mean, you know what? In the words of Vin Diesel, it doesn't matter if you win by an inch or a mile. A win is a win.
We good? Oh, damn.
Yeah, I think you're still good. But anyways, I was going to say, too, you know what I thought about? With Hurd's injury now, too, and obviously Debo probably most likely. I think Debo's guaranteed to be out the first week, and then we're pretty much playing it by ear after that. But we all know how great of a freaking pass catcher and even this little, I mean, I'm not going to say he's a freaking wide receiver route runner, but I've seen him run some routes, lined up on the line of scrimmage. I think Jarek McKinnon now with Jalen Hurd's injury can have some of those Debo snaps where he goes for a little jet motion, can have a screen off of that. Or I think I have literally seen Jarek McKinnon run some slant routes and he looks pretty much almost as good as a wide receiver doing it. So, I mean, thank God we got Kyle Shanahan, right? Getting creative. I don't know if Tavon Austin is going to make the roster. Maybe he could just for the simple fact of those. Tavon Austin and Debo's a little bigger, but I was going to say they almost have the same body type, but except obviously that Debo's a lot thicker. But, he could run those end arounds and off of that, do a little screen and all that. But I just think we have, like I said, we can have a couple other guys kind of doing the same kind of things. It's just going to be interesting. You know, a little more Kyle Juszczyk. I will probably expect to see probably a little more 21 personnel. Maybe
the biggest deal.
Two tight end sets more. I don't know.
To me, the biggest deal is the ability to allow as many varieties of versatile type of skill sets. And Ben Shanahan, I think the key is know this, but Kyle Shanahan knows exactly what he wants. And the reason I think that the Linehan situation works is because Kyle Shanahan knows exactly what he wants, and John Lynch knows exactly how to get him what he wants. You know, John Lynch is a great negotiator and could pull off, I don't know, getting Trent Williams for a third and a fifth and a third. You know, hey, we need a left tackle. I want Trent Williams. He knows my system. Probably, if we could replace Joe Staley with anybody, probably be Trent Williams, Don Lynch. Yeah, okay, we'll get it done, Kyle. Like,
I hope we can extend him.
I think that the reason I love the receiver room, the reason I love the receiver room is because nobody's safe. Yeah, nobody's safe. I mean, we know Debo, we know Brandon Ayuk. I would definitely be shocked if Kendrick Bourne didn't make the team. You know, I'd be curious to see who makes it over him. You know, but we are pretty confident those three are all
making it 200%.
The other
probably going to be a starter at one of the two spots. Like,
I think this is the year that I think we're gonna lose Kendrick Bourne next year, and I don't think it's going to be because we don't want him. I think it's just going to be because some other team comes up and says, "Hey, you can be our number two."
It's just
you can be our number two.
Right. Yeah. Only way I can see, like, let's just say he has another. Let's just say he has another. I'm not going to say mediocre year, but we all know his red zone ability, and he has Jimmy's trust on moving the chains on third downs and in the red zone. So it's going to be very interesting to see what kind of year he has and what kind of money he'll be able to get in the market, where then he decides what exactly do I want to do. He's from Washington.
Exactly. And seeing him in the Pacific Northwest, that would be a very Seattle thing to do.
Metcalf can go deep.
That would be a very Seattle thing to do.
That would be a very Seattle thing to do.
But to the point is, to get to the point, I love the ability that the cream is going to rise to the top. And I know we continue to say this, and we said this last year, and lo and behold, we ended up having to trade a receiver. But I believe that we're going to cut some receivers that either have a legit resume, NFL resume, like Tavon Austin. Anyway, have a legit resume like him. That maybe Tavon. Yeah, I don't know why I can't speak today, bro. It's like 97.
Tavon is like a Madden player that you can use better in Madden, but once again, we do have Kyle Shanahan, who made someone like Taylor Gabriel, and we're not going to get into that, why we didn't get him. I thought that would have been an awesome fit, but we do have Kyle Shanahan. And if you think about it, with the loss of Debo, I feel like now the optimistic side for 49er fans is without Debo, it's like, I feel like the opposing defense now, Kyle Shanahan can be able to do all these different things where, like, now the defense can still be on their toes because you don't know exactly what he's going to do because Debo's not in there.
That's a very valid point, Adam. I'll give you that. That's a valid point. Is the fact is, let's be realistic. If nobody's hurt and you have the ability of, who we assume is going to make the roster, and it's 3rd and 7, game on the line in Arizona, generally speaking, the ball's probably going to go to either Deebo Samuel or George Kittle. If I'm Arizona's defense, I'm saying if everybody's available, Keon on number 19, number 85, obviously, and we'll take our chances with everybody else. With this position, you don't know. Like, obviously George Kittle, but they're taking him out to who are you there? We're going to take Kittle out this conversation. Who are you going to? I mean, yeah, you can say Trent Taylor, because him and I love the Trent Taylor, George Kittle, Jimmy thing going on where, man, it's a pretty intense.
It's good for team bonding and building and building relationships further. And, you want to go harder for the other person when you're better friends. We all know that crap. And then when you're better friends, you can call out the other person and ask more of them because there's a little more than, hey, we're just kind of coworkers. You know what I mean? It's like, we're friends too, and we got a big goal.
If the biggest argument on our football team ever is who is Jimmy's favorite target, then I think Kyle Shanahan will gladly take that being the biggest drama that he has to deal with in his locker room.
I'm sure Trent's trying to say too is, hey, yo, Jimmy, don't forget about me what we did in 2017, big bug.
Oh yeah. I think that, and I think the ability is to be able to have a Trent Taylor who's obviously a different skill set than a Jordan Reed, than a George Kittle. Then you have Dante, who, let's give him props. I believe it was yesterday. Had his best practice. Some people that I reached out to that were at practice said that it was one of his best practices that they have seen as a pro.
Was where the hands at physical. He got physical. So apparently he's pissed off from all the chatter. And once again, I think he knows this is his best opportunity to regain exactly what he did in 2018, especially when somebody like Brandon Ayuk is breathing down his neck, when Kendrick Bourne's in the contract year, he's trying to get his. Yes. I mean, once again, you brought in 3 veteran wide receivers who are all trying to make the team. I mean, you still got hungry rookie like Juwan Jennings. So
you're like 11 now. You're an 11 personnel, okay? You got 2 receivers on the field. The way that Kyle Shanahan sees that scenario and who those 2 receivers are, most of the time for the future is Brandon Ayuk and Deebo Samuel. I think it's pretty clear that those are, our starting 2 receivers going into the future as the plan is now. So Dante, as far as me, Dante has an already uphill battle. Even am I the 3rd receiver? Am I the 4th receiver? Or am I the 5th, 6th, or am I off the team? And I think it's okay. I don't think that it's never been a question of talent with Dante. I think that anybody who watched him in 2018, clearly saw that there was talent. And I think that what's lost in a season with Dante is, that Pittsburgh game, he made the game-winning play. I know because I was able to grab grass from actually the very next game. 2 weeks later, I was able to grab grass from the spot he caught the touchdown. I was able to pick some, I was able to get field access and sitting in my storage right now. So the talent has never been an issue with Dante. It's from the shoulders up. I think it was an attitude. I think Dante's a little spoiled brat in a lot of situations. I remember watching a video of him interacting with his dad. His dad had taken him, of course, being a coach of the Houston Astros. I think it was on the Niners bye week. He came in and he was in the batting cages and everything. And Dante's dad's trying to give him instructions on, choke up on the bat, hold it this way, And Dante's, I know, and he's just giving him total. And I can see, like, you know what? I'm not surprised that he's struggling. I think it was from the shoulders up. I think Dante was a spoiled brat. Grew up with a rich parent. And that's okay. I'm not judging Dante as a man. I'm not judging that. That's okay. And so what I really think is need to be done, like when you're being a father, I know this. But my daughter, I love my daughter to the world. I spoil the hell out of my daughter. But when she starts to, I remember one time, she made the unfortunate mistake of telling her mother, while the Niners were losing to the Giants, the game Alden Smith came back from his first suspension. I made the unfortunate mistake to say that pretty much she could act however the hell she wanted, and she was still going to get Christmas presents from her father. And I had to let her know in a very aggressive manner that she was tripping. And so, she didn't get a present for Christmas that year. And guess what? My daughter's been a perfect angel every time it's come around Christmas. She learned her lesson. So I think Dante needs to be sat down in the Super Bowl. And that was the equivalent of my daughter not getting presents on Christmas, was Dante being sat and not active in the Super Bowl. And now that Dante taught his lesson, took his medicine, matured a little bit. I mean, Dante's probably only 23, 24 years old, right? Hell, I'm 34 and I'm still maturing.
Yeah, second year. I'm sure he was 21.
And I think that's something with people.
I respect where you're coming from. So if I may, I totally get where you're coming from.
Yeah, of course.
If I may throw my 2 cents in that, I've always said, since kind of going back to last year, I think he's always been such dominantly athletically gifted, where he never necessarily had to earn anything, because it was flat out obvious that he's the best at what he does at being a wide receiver. So all the way to Washington, and even obviously our roster was kind of thinner in 2018, so he did get playing time right away. And then 2019 comes around, we draft Tebow and stuff. Obviously, I don't think he embraced the competition. He wasn't quite as physical as the other guys. So Kyle Shanahan is like, well, why should I give you more opportunities when you're not fitting exactly the mold of what I'm kind of asking you? 2018 was different. You had a solid rookie year. Let's build off of that. And instead, he didn't embrace the competition, and he got me the good old saying, he caught himself behind the 8 ball. And I do think, and by the way, I was going to bring up this point. Just because we drafted Brandon Ayuk, I've seen this. I mean, talk about the ultimate way, once again, having a semi-optimistic and semi-different idea, is just because we draft a wide receiver in the first round with Brandon Ayuk, especially with this type of offseason, I've seen plenty of times in every sport, mostly like basketball and football, where just because you draft a first-round wide receiver, that can light a fire under somebody else, but somebody else emerges. And that doesn't mean that just because he was a first-round receiver, he's automatically get to play. I mean, for example, like, I'm not saying the Broncos several years ago, they drafted Bradley Roby in the first round. He didn't really get to play that much unless they went to nickels. He wasn't a starting wide receiver from the get-go. So just because you're a first round at certain position doesn't, I'm not going to say it means something, but once again, we all know guys can emerge further, and next thing you know, that first round pick has to wait a little bit and make the most of his opportunities, and that's a great thing.
I mean, go to Niner history. It's look, the idea of the red carpet just rolling out for Brandon Ayuk is that's not necessarily what I'm saying. Like, obviously, I know, like, for example, there's been, go back to 20, and this is obviously not receivers, but go back to the 05 draft. The best player taken in the best Niner player taken in the 2005 draft was Frank Gore. We could all agree to that. I think there's no question. Love Alex. By the way, big shout out to Alex. I think he deserves a round of applause, and I'm so happy to see him back in his comeback. Last time I interacted with Alex personally, he was kind of a dick. I'm not gonna lie, but it's
caught him off guard. Look, he wasn't, had a long day.
I'll put it this way. You know what? Yeah, anybody could be a dick. I know that the Alex Smith, when I first met him, the Alex Smith that not only stopped, came back and took a picture with me, but then said, hey, went to my baby mama and was like, you want a picture too? And, with kindest dude and whatever. So that's fine. I love Alex Smith. So happy that he's back on the field. I hope he goes out and, I hope we beat him in the NFC Championship game. Yeah. But Frank Gore was the best player taken in the 05 draft, and it was in the third round. Joe Montana, the greatest player in franchise history, was taken in the third round. Nobody knows who the hell we took in most people don't even remember. We didn't even have a first-round pick in 79. So, that's not the point. And to get back to your point and where I agree with you with Dante is I think he was hot stuff in 2018. I think, and let's not forget, he had early success in that Vikings game. You know, he caught that nice touchdown, and you know, all has had okay, Dante, okay, you know, and so he came into 19 with the mentality of I've always been good. I'm the NCAA record holder for punt return kickoffs. You know, da 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 da. I had a great rookie season. It's just going to be the same old, like it's been my whole life. And he got a cold dose of reality.
Let's be honest. Didn't we all expect last offseason for Dante wide receivers to be essentially a number one receiver?
Yeah, I did too. Yeah. We did. I'm pretty sure if you pull up every show we did from last offseason, we probably have mentioned on when we talked about wide receivers, we mentioned Dante of being a big contributor to the receiving core last year.
I will say this too, though. I will say that my whole point about Brandon Ayuk is like, hey, pump the brakes, y'all. That wasn't my point at all. I was just trying to like I wouldn't be stunned if Dante Pettis once again. That was a good sign yesterday for me. It's like take advantage of the opportunity, and I do think I'm not going to say it's going to be a blessing in disguise for Debo, but we all know with a shortened off season how crucial snaps and everything is, and I heard you talk about earlier about more soft tissue injuries and all that because I don't think that's because of lack of conditioning. I think that's more so of everything being so compacted. You had to like fast forward the video. When the video was meant to play at this speed, the video all of a sudden went to 3 times the speed. It's like, are you going to enjoy the video? Like, is it going to be the same as before? What I'm trying to say is with Brandon Ayuk, because it's such a short offseason, I wasn't sure exactly how fast he's going to come along. With Debo's injury, that opens up a lot more snaps for him now, and especially with Jalen Hurts' injury too. So it could be a blessing in disguise where he'll be able to get up to speed a lot further up because now he has more opportunities and snaps. So it could work out for everybody. It could work out for Brandon.
I expect in the early part of the year, I expect Dante Pettis, being this his 3rd season, to be ahead of Brandon Ayuk. I expect that he should be on the field ahead of Brandon Ayuk. You know, if you even look over the fact of, you know, just him being here and already having somewhat, I think there was I don't want to say a chemistry. Yeah, let's say, for lack of a better word, a chemistry issue. Everybody, of course, knows about the 5-pick practice in, last training camp for Jimmy Garoppolo. What nobody talks about and is so overlooked is all 5 of those picks came when he was targeting Dante. And so, you know, clearly there was a disconnect between him and Jimmy last year.
Probably lost some of Jimmy's. He probably lost confidence, or Jimmy and Channing probably both lost a little confidence in him.
What game was it? I remember somebody making the comment of saying they read his lips, and he had I believe it was the Seattle game, and Dante had dropped a pass or had gotten tipped and picked or something, and Jimmy snapped off his chin helmet and said, "Not fucking again." You know, and so there clearly was a disconnect between Dante and Jimmy, and I don't want to throw Dante Pettis into the fire. I don't want to say he's off the team. Will he be a contributor? Yes, I do expect him to be a contributor to this team, especially early on in the season. I expect Kendrick Bourne and Dante Pettis and, the veteran, for lack of better words, receivers to step up. They're going to need to.
The top 4 guys, in my own personal opinion. I mean, obviously, let's put Debo aside. So you have Bourne.
Yeah.
I don't know. I hate this damn camera. Bourne, Pettis, obviously Ayuk and Trent Taylor. In my opinion, those are going to be obviously the 4 locks. And then you have Debo, who's MIA right now, but you still got to account for him. So then it becomes the 6th receiver spot. Who's the 6th going to be? J.J. Nelson, Tavon Austin, Jawan Jennings. I don't know if I'm forgetting somebody. I don't think I am, especially after Benjamin ended up retiring. Richie James has broken wrist. He's not going to be. I don't think he's going to be at all. I don't even know what the timeline is for him, to be completely honest.
He definitely said he was going to miss week 1.
Because with Jared McKinnon now, because Jared can kind of count as a half wide receiver almost that sense. So I can see us carrying 4 running backs and only 6 wide receivers, and that's what probably I would do.
Let's not forget.
In total.
Then when Eric McKinnon got hurt in 2018, Kyle Shanahan essentially had to talk. Jerick McKinnon was brought here to be a focal point of this offense.
I mean, are we going to forget about we signed freaking Alfred Morris, who looked chill in preseason, and then he freaking fumbles twice against the Vikings? He possibly cost us the opportunity to win that game, along with a few other things that we already know about. But
exactly,
we had to rely on Alfred Morris off the street. Is my point.
Is that Kyle Shanahan is a coach who believes in positionless football. So will Jerick McKinnon line up in the slot this year, out wide? Yeah. He probably will. If he can prove that he has the ability to do it still, after 2 knee surgeries, from everything I've heard, he's looked amazing. Looks like he did in 2018.
Well, he's motivated.
All signs are good.
We're surprised, and he is obviously 2 years removed from injury. It's like if you don't get it done right now,
he's motivated by the simple fact is that let's not get it twisted. This man does not go through what he went through. Okay, you do not blow your knee out once, right? Battle back, go through all the rehab, all that thing. Okay, but getting over the mental hurdle of you're a starter. You're a starter on an NFL team. Your dream realized. The week before you're gonna start practice, leading to that game, you blow out your knee. You get over that mental hurdle. You do all the rehab. Come back 2019, shut it down. Another knee surgery. Then you come back from that mental hurdle and battle all this offseason. You don't do that unless you love the game of football. You don't do that unless you love what you do. And so let's not forget this man has a college degree. I understand he can't go make millions of dollars like he can in the NFL, but he can go get a job. Like he can go make a living.
Well, and so he got a pretty chill amount of guaranteed money too.
Exactly. So Jerick McKinnon is fine. He could walk away from football today, and him and his grandkids and grandkids probably don't have to work a day in their lives. Or if they do, they're set up ahead where they're going to have a head start and be fine. Right. He's doing it. So he's simply motivated in a contract year. Of course, money motivates all of us. But also just simply off the fact he hasn't played football in 2 years. And he's battled back to get to this point where he can play some football. And so he's definitely going to be motivated to show people, hey, I can do it. And so
I can't wait.
The Niners are going to be fine.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I think we're going to be fine. I think that, overall, everything's going to be okay. We will have a productive offense. We are going to be able to move the ball.
Yeah.
I think so.
More important than ever. That's for damn sure, especially going in. Well, obviously, we're technically the home team, right? If I'm not mistaken, against Arizona.
Yeah. Technically the home team.
What is it going to matter? I mean, it's going to be the only thing that's going to matter is they're going to have to travel to us, which is an advantage. Yeah. But it's only Arizona, so how much of a freaking advantage is that? But dude, Arizona is stacked on offense. Kyler Murray is going to be in second year in the system. It's going to be a great battle, man. And I can see going either way. I'm not going once again. It's not about being a homer. And if I think obviously we are going to be the favorites in that game, but tell me if we lose, that's not going to be the biggest wake up call for the year. That everyone's going to come even further. Everyone already played us tough. Division already plays you tough, but you started 0-1. And once again,
I promise you.
Yesterday,
I promise you, Chris. Kingsbury is telling you in that week for preparation, if they haven't already started to talk about us or whatever, Kingsbury is going to his players. He's not talking about if he's talking about we're going to win this game. He's talking about, I guarantee you, he's already said, look, he's pointed out probably several plays in both games last year that if they stop one play, they probably win those games. Let's not think about it. If Ross Dwelly doesn't catch that pass and that third down is not converted, Arizona had the momentum in that Halloween game. At that point, how many times have we seen in that stadium Larry Fitzgerald on a game the Niners should have won in overtime or last seconds catching a fucking touchdown to snatch victory from the jaws of defeat. You know, how many times have we seen that in a game that we clearly should have won? That was one play away from happening. I believe that's one play from happening. Just as easily as I can say we get off the field at 3rd and 15, or, you know, we are Super Bowl champions. They stop us on that 3rd down. They win that game in Arizona.
Yeah. I mean,
you know,
remember
Richie
when we lost this amount of games by this amount of total, it was like, you know, 4, 5, 6 games within 4 or 6 or something like that.
No.
But it's like, let's reverse it. We won those X amount of games, not by that amount.
Yeah.
So
to me, Arizona is a team. Look, will Seattle be a threat? Yes, they will be because of Russell Wilson. You know, that's fine. I think that they're, you know, are they a legit championship contending team? No. But I think that, yeah, they can take the division. Okay, they can definitely.
They don't have a home field advantage this year. I think that hurts a team like them.
You know, that really does. You know, that is something I haven't thought about that. But let's just be realistic. Seattle's going to be there. You know, it'll be a shock if they're not.
They're always at damn roach every year out. As much as we want to say we killed the last one.
Every year we come on this show, bro, and we say that they're going to be 8-8. You know, they always find a way to, you know, be there at the end.
And that's when you got to give them props. Like, we're over the days of obviously. I mean, the rivalry's kind of back essentially. When you grow up, you start respecting something even that you don't even love or like. You know, you got to say, you got to tip your hat to, once again, to Russell Wilson and Pete Carroll. There's Schneider. He doesn't draft that well, but they always find those low key guys and those undrafted guys, the late round guys that always end up contributing, even though when they haven't hit that well on top of the draft. But a year in, they were right there.
I think Russell Wilson, there'd be, if you told me, hey, would you rather have Jimmy or Russell? I'll take Jimmy. You know,
what?
If you would tell me, yeah. If you would tell me, hey, Jimmy's out of the equation, would you take Russell over, you know, pretty much almost any QB for a majority for 1 year? I'll probably go through a couple quarterbacks where I might discuss over having Russell over two. If you said that you could have him for the same amount, Jimmy retired, and you could have him for the same amount of money for the same term length of contract that you could have Jimmy, would I be mad if the Niners did that? No. Okay, that's fine. He's a freak of nature, can do things that nobody else can.
I was going to say this. I don't respect the list that much. On the NFL top 100 list, Russell Wilson ranked ahead of Patrick Mahomes on the list. And it's supposedly the players make it, but I feel like there's some behind the scenes shit. That's why I really care about it. It's nice, but I don't care.
I can't.
Everyone is biased. They're voting for themselves. They vote for their homies. I don't really care.
Look, this is the way I look at it is, you know, Eric Davis on the Believe in 49ers podcast talks about how they come up with the NFL 100 because he was part of that, you know, and so I can't remember exactly how it's done, and I don't remember the episode, but y'all can go ahead and search the Believe in 49er podcast. I really do enjoy it. It's actually a really good podcast because I love the perspective of Eric Davis. And I love it. He tells it as it is, and he says, look, I'm a player. This is how it is. So I love that, you know, because nobody can argue because he went through it. But anyway, their assistant coaches are amazing. I honestly believe that they will get the best out of their roster. Would I take Pete Carroll over Kyle Shanahan? No. Would I take Pete Carroll over Bill Belichick? No. Would I even take Pete Carroll over Doug Peterson? No. Because to me, it always comes down to this. And look, this could even be a Shanahan issue. Andy Reid for years was talked about how he was a choke coach that couldn't win the big game and everything like that. But how do you, to me, and going back to our original point that we were talking about the Super Bowl, look, the Niners caught a huge break last year in Seattle. To me, the fact that you are so disorganized trying to get Marshawn Lynch on the field, so that it's beast mode and all that to win the game and win the division, and he doesn't have his helmet on, and you can't call time, and all that chaos, that cost you the division. That's on coaching. I'm looking at Pete Carroll to that. I'm looking at Pete Carroll.
No, I guess you do, but I do think in that particular instance, is Pete Carroll does rely on his offensive coordinator a lot. So I think that was the kind of thing where they weren't properly. That guy wasn't properly.
You just lose everything. Okay, good. We're back. So to me, I don't look at Pete Carroll as a great coach. Pete Carroll is a great motivator who gets the best out of his roster. And when he was in the building, or had the ability to have probably one of the best quarterbacks in the league, I think slightly overrated. And I do think Russell Wilson is a little bitch, but just for various personal reasons. But when
all right, guys, looks like we lost TJ over here for a second. This point, I don't really have too much else to say. We're at the 1 hour and 10 minute mark, so probably end up wrapping up the show right now. Not sure if TJ's going to end up popping up back on. Brown wants to see Seahawks version of Bourne. Doesn't get a ton of chances. There he is.
No idea what happened. We just drop off. Basically, to get to my point, and I think we're gonna wrap
Jason
up. I think it's
says Brown was the Seahawks version of Bourne. Yeah, probably slightly more Bourne light, but I totally get your point, my friend, and I agree with you, Jason. Yeah, he's the guy that just made those big kind of crucial chain moving plays. So it's going to be interesting to see if someone like him can make the roster. I think the last number 6 wide receiver spot, this my gut feeling, is going to come down to J.J. Nelson or Jawan Jennings, my personal opinion, because J.J. Nelson's more of the burner type that can kind of replace someone like Marquise Goodwin and Travis Benjamin. If he wouldn't have retired, I think he definitely would have made the roster. I'm not going to say definitely, but I thought he had a great chance if not. I think that the last wide receiver spot, in my own personal opinion, is going to come down to J.J. Nelson because he's more of a pure wide receiver than Tavon Austin. I mean, Tavon Austin is – he's been known as a gadget guy literally ever since he got drafted by the Rams. I know the Cowboys kind of utilize him obviously a little better, but my gut is on J.J. Nelson, Jawan Jennings. If you put a gun in my head, I just don't know if we'll be able to stash Jawan Jennings. But I feel like you need somebody like J.J. Nelson more on the roster than a Jawan Jennings as a number 6 wide receiver. As much as we probably want Jawan to win it. Because we need a burner, so I think Nelson's going to win the number 6 spot.
I'm going to say Jennings, just because I think they go with the drafted player.
And he might be too good.
You're going to go with and too good to stash. And look, when Jennings was first drafted, I said this is Jalen Hurd insurance. And I think
the best player available to me. He ended up falling a little further than I heard character concerns, but then I heard everybody from Tennessee loved him. It's like, well, why did he fall if he was
Look, what was his character concerns? His character's concerns was he stands up for his teammates and doesn't take nobody's shit.
Well, he got suspended in the past. I kind of forgot the thorough reason why.
Yeah,
but then he ended up coming back and playing. It looks like Tennessee embraced him. So I really don't know why he fell. I don't know. I mean, someone must have got some type of dirt on him or some crap, and it might not even be football related at all. It could be hanging around with the wrong crowds or some stupid shit. I mean, honestly speaking, who the hell knows?
It could be the fact that he was 18, 19 years old when this happened. You know what? If everybody held a gun to your head, Adam, that now you're 30 years old? And said, hey, explain. Huh?
I just turned the big 32 on August 7th.
Okay. So, happy birthday, bro. I remember saying happy birthday to you. I didn't know it was 32. I thought it was 31. Anyway, okay, so, hey, go explain something you said 10 years ago at 22. You know what I'm saying? I bet you
Big
I
time.
bet you there's many things that at 22. Look, I'm 34 years old, and there's something I regret doing at 29 that
Exactly.
literally is affecting me to this day. And you know what? It was stupid. I was dumb. I should have never done it. But guess what? Why do I learn it's stupid and I haven't done it since and learned my lesson? Because I did face those consequences. And so that caused me to learn my lesson. So guess what? I
Right.
avoid that type of situation now.
Right. Exactly. I
And
mean,
so,
and
you know,
live and learn.
I think
Some people are the
it's,
type that will never forgive you for it. I'm definitely the type of person,
yeah,
and yeah, I mean, I'm not even going to say 30 is a cutoff line. Honestly speaking, I think it
yeah.
depends on, did you make a mistake and how have you responded to it in the next year or two, for example? Are you continue to still
Yeah.
be kind of a knucklehead, or have you looked like you're on the good pattern? I think that's what it should come down to in life. I mean, it's not a dog where he bites somebody, so you're always going to be scared if he bites somebody again. I mean, this is a
And
damn human.
let's, yeah. And let's be realistic. It's a seventh round pick. And so, you're not, it's not like taking, trading up and getting Reuben Foster, who was a risk. I'm not going to criticize the team because I literally jumped up and down and said we drafted the next Patrick Willis, so I'm not going to criticize for the Niners for taking that risk. But yeah, that was more of a risk. This is a flyer on a seventh round draft choice, on a seventh round pick.
Honestly speaking,
that probably was one of the highest rated players on our board. I would not be surprised if Jennings was the highest rated player on our board, best player available.
And
you are always going to go
injuries.
Yeah, exactly. Almost kind of like they have a plan and they kind of know what they're doing. Obviously not predicting that, the one interesting to me, and this is the twist that I think happens, and you brought it up with Austin being a gadget player for most of his career, and then we'll go ahead and wrap up after this.
I don't even know. We might need his gadget.
Is exactly because let's say what is essentially Richie James. Richie James is a gadget player with some return ability. What's Trayvon Austin? A gadget player with some return ability that maybe can give you more than the occasional bubble screen or some type of gadget play. And so to me is Trayvon Austin is, look, does Richie James get into camp? And can he be healthy enough to show something, in camp? And if so, can he beat out a veteran?
I'm not gonna lie.
And
I said JJ Nelson is probably going to be possibly the number 6, but I can definitely once again see Tavon Austin making it just for the simple aspect of being used kind of like a Taylor Gabriel. I mean, let's be honest, Tavon Austin is fast, so it can be a reverse, it could be a toss, that could be from a screen. Remember the play where Debo runs the reverse against the Bengals, I believe week 2.
Yeah.
I think it was definitely was week 2, but I think he came off of reverse. A jet sweep or whatnot. He didn't get the ball, but then he ends up going out for a screen and it has a hell of a game. So I can see Tavon Austin doing something like that and then literally going for a go route. Like he can run a go route. I'm sure he can run a slant. Like he could be.
Yeah.
He could be. I mean, if anything, that's like the definition of a number 6 wide receiver, where he does give you those kind of things.
He definitely can. He definitely has the ability to run in a very fast and straight line.
One wide receiver spot. Maybe they do. I mean, I think you have to keep all 4 running backs, don't you? Jarek, Jeff Wilson, Tavon Coleman, and who am I forgetting?
Hastings.
No,
one of the undrafted guys. Oh, what you got? Coleman, Mostert.
How did I forget? So I think all 4 have to make it, don't you?
Yeah, I don't.
With
maybe they tried to cut Jeff Wilson Jr. and
we almost made him through the
last
year. Do you remember?
Yeah. So
last year in the Super Bowl, we had 4 active running backs, didn't we not?
Yeah. So I mean, look, a run first team, and to wrap up, a run first team. It does not surprise me. Has 4 running backs, and it ain't funny how kind of we used all 4 in some various type of form last year. Obviously, we saw. Look, do we go to the Super Bowl without the performances of Raheem Mostert and Tevin Coleman, yeah. Is it a little bit hairier? Most definitely. And as far as receiver injuries and everything, and we'll go ahead and wrap it up after this. It doesn't matter if we're gonna run the ball down people's throats if it like we did in the playoffs. It also helps, and you need less receivers if you're able to get 4 yards, 5 yards a pop. So that's another way to negate the injuries at receiver. Let's just run the ball down people's throats and pound it away to a Super Bowl appearance like last year.
Right.
All right, Joe. Well, we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna get out of here. My phone's yelling at me. The tablet's yelling at me. But we're gonna go ahead and catch you again next week. In case everybody, I know a lot of people weren't here when I announced it, and Adam hasn't announced it. As of August 7th, myself and a couple people got together, and we're going to be making the Home Podcasting Network. So Niner Faithful Radio will have the power of a professional podcast network. We're going to be getting into some marketing and some things that are definitely going to be able to help the show. We're going to hopefully be able to do a more professional setup and get some professional equipment up in here and stuff like that. But we'll talk more about it off air, bruh. There's some things that I got to talk to you about. But yeah, we're definitely going to be looking forward to that. We'll of course still be on YouTube and all that. But we'll see y'all last week. Any last words you have, Adam?
Not at all. Not at all.
All right. Well, we'll see y'all next week.
Just continue to stay active on that 49ers sheet, and whatever news we're able to get. I've noticed the beat writers, which is kind of cool. They did give them a little form of access, but obviously they can't be close at all. So it kind of hinders, obviously, some of the video making. But hey, I didn't think they were going to be allowed at all. To be honest, I'm surprised they even let.
Yeah. No. The team is doing daily live look-ins, right, and doing highlights. Right. So we're able to catch some, just
a little something to get our juices flowing.
Please stay patient with us. We understand that normally this time I'd be coming in from camp every day, so you would get your daily training camp reports, and I'd be able to tell you about things from practice. Unfortunately, the public's not allowed to go, and your boy doesn't have a media credential, which with the podcast network. The NFL, they require you to work for a network that covers more than the NFL. So, who knows? Maybe you might see your boys on the sideline at a Niner or up in the press box at the Niner game.
So you're saying you got to cover a different sport? I mean, hey, I can't wait for Warriors and Lakers matchups next year, to be honest.
Bro, I have to send you the meme that I put. My boy, who is actually a Warriors fan, put this meme. And good humor, but I had to steal it from him after last night, bro.
It's not about Danny Green, is it?
No. Okay. All right, bro. We'll see y'all next week. Till then, faith, love, and happiness. Go Niners.
All right, my guy. Thank you, everybody.
All right, bro.